How the heck are you, everybody? I'm Fastidious. Welcome to my channel, and welcome to the must-build epics of Watcher of Realms. We've got 11 of them, and just to make this video punchy and concise, I'm going to hold it to under 11 minutes. So let's get right into it. No time for an intro. Starting going down the factions with the Watchguard, we've got Idril. I'm not going to break down all these heroes in great detail. I'm just going to tell you definitively these are must-build epic units. There's maybe no better epic DPS than Idril. During her ultimate, she gets unlimited range, limitless shots. She can hit anywhere on the field. This passive synergizes beautifully while she is ulting. Make sure to ult with other units, and it really revs up her damage. Pretty tremendous stuff. She has dual faction in Watcher and Piercer. She is just exceptionally strong. You definitely want to start getting awakenings into her, because at A5, during her ultimate, if she kills someone, she will extend the duration of the ultimate by 3 seconds. She is such a hard carry for all content, but especially Gear Raid 3. Next up, we have Eona, another dual faction hero, Watchguard and Cultist. She is exceptionally rare. However, if you're willing to spend just a little money, you can get her from the free starter Eona pack for just $5. If you're a spender, it is entirely worth it. She's an AoE mage who also has slows. She also gets a lot stronger with awakenings if you want to put soul stones into her. An excellent candidate for that. Getting AoE magic DPS is super important in this game, and unless you're very lucky, it can be very difficult. It took me over 40 days on my original 100% free-to-play account before I ever got anything. That's because I didn't pick up in Eona. After you start summoning a bunch, you'll eventually get other great AoE mages. However, if you want to progress quickly, you likely cannot wait for that. So getting Eona and building her is humongous in this game. The slows, the AoE DPS, a truly tremendous hero. Already on now to the next faction, we have the North Throne, and they have 4 of our 11 must-build epics, starting off with Maul. Maul is an AoE DPS. This time, instead of doing magic damage, he does piercing damage, particularly potent against light armor enemies, which are typically your flying units, on top of crazy DPS and a big burst with a huge range on his ultimate. Additionally, he also has nice AoE damage on his basics, and then he gets a big defense break periodically that is triggered by this passive. Defense break is so important in this game. A defense reduction of 10%, which goes up to 15% with skill ups, is so huge. Attack is king in this game. You need your attack to be higher than their defense. If they have a defense reduction, it's a lot easier. Maul also has some of the strongest awakenings in the game. He has a freeze from his A1. Then from his A3, he starts putting out slows as well. So he's an excellent crowd control unit. And then finally at A5, his total cost is reduced by 5, from 22 cost to 17, making him the cheapest AoE marksman in the entire game. Fantastic. Right next to Maul, we have Vortex. Very simple. Good healer, crazy range. You'll see at full promotion, it goes to what we all call Vortex range. It's just enormous 3x4 with an extra 3 on top, in the middle, and on top of that, very consistent shields. Shields can be very hard to come by in Watcher of Realms. Northerners, as you can see, is like the #1 PvE progression faction. Amazing epics there. You can easily get Dagna, a free rare lord, and you can really cook. A lot of the potency of the Northerner faction is dependent upon shields. Vortex puts them out during his ultimate. He can also put them out very consistently through this passive. Incredible hero. The top progression healer, I would say, in the game. Must build unit. Now we've got our first and only tank. This is going to be Olague. Olague you get 100% for free as early as day 8. You're going to have the prologue to the Void Rift. Once you beat that, the next week you can do the normal easy Void Rift. And you only have to beat the very first battle in the very first phase before they give you a free Olague. He is very tanky, and it all comes down to this passive over here, Silver Shield. Every 12 seconds, this goes down to 11 seconds, he gets a shield strength of 50%, which goes all the way up to 85%. He just resets that like clockwork every 11 seconds. It is a meaty shield. It is very hard for any enemy, early, mid, or even late game, to put a dent in him. He does not have the greatest base stats in the world, but they are also nothing to scoff at. And for many legendaries to outpace him, you need better gear and you need skill ups. With him, you need essentially nothing. Mediocre gear with the HP bonus main stat is sufficient, and very early game and mid game, he's even better than basically every legendary tank. He's so easy to use. Skill this thing up, put on the HP, profit. Finally, our fourth member of the North Throne, we have Estrid. Like Maul, she comes with a huge defense break, actually tying for the highest defense reduction in the entire game. 20% at base goes all the way up to 30%. You want to build this girl fast, and she absolutely shreds. You will maintain very high uptime on her defense reduction, and on top of that, she has a very potent DPS kit. She's got nice single target on the basic, and then interesting range on the ultimate with very good multipliers, an increase in attack speed, absolutely shredding as she uses her top attack stat of any epic in the game, combines that with the defense break. She's unbelievable. Also, fantastic awakenings, an extra basic attack range on her basic attacks from her A1. On the A3, increased chance of double strikes, which means increased chance of landing the defense reduction. And then finally, she can rage cycle far more consistently against penetrated enemies, aka enemies with defense reduction, once you get her A5. Now, the Nightmare Council, we have Wrath. Not much to say here besides the fact that he's a very good fighter, and he is the lord of the easiest beginner progression DPS faction in the game. You get him for free on day 14, and you should build him almost immediately thereafter. There's a ton of DPS in the kit, very cheap ult, which comes down to a cost with skill ups of 300. Nice passive over here with additional damage, and of course, his great lord skill for the other Nightmare units. Key thing, the awakenings are good, but really he becomes a whole new unit when you get him A5. During his ultimate, he will heal himself for 30% of all damage dealt. That is so significant. He becomes very hard to kill, and this tankiness, this self-healing, proves effective into the late game. Very, very good hero. Many of you will never get Torador, like me, and you'll be stuck with Wrath forever. Now we've got Deimos. Incredible hero, again, especially with awakenings. If you get him A5, he starts shredding all the time when he gets full tearing stacks. It's a key component of his kit that comes over here from this passive. There's not much I have to break down with Deimos besides telling you he is the single best single target DPS of any epic in the game. Even at A0, he is good, but once you save up soul stones and you can get him to A5, he completely shreds. There is a reason he is the hero on the icon of the game, on the icon of the app. On to the Cursed Cult. We already talked about Eona. I'm actually skipping over Greed, who you get for free on day 28, because unlike some of these other heroes, Greed, in my opinion, to be a must-build unit, absolutely needs A5, and that's a pretty significant required investment. Hollow, phenomenal. The best source of rage regeneration besides Eloin in the entire game. Eloin is a super rare legendary. Hollow is an epic. So if you get her, she also has, with full promotion, that famous Vortex range. She gives tremendous rage regeneration during the ultimate from this passive over here, Energetic Bliss. When her ult is active, she's restoring a nice chunk of rage per second. It starts at 0.6 rage per second. It goes up to 1.4. That's really nice over the duration of a 20-second ultimate. If we go to her awakenings, her simplest awaken level 1 is her best. Now, every time she does a heal, she will restore 1% of that healed ally's rage cap. This game is all about doing your ultimate, triggering your ultimate. Hollow makes it a lot easier to cycle through those for your entire team. Now, if we go to Infernal, the simplest one I'm going to discuss, Dolores, she unlocks the entire game. As I said earlier, this game is all about attack. Her inspiration buff gives a proportion of her attack to all allies in range. She has this very unique range here. This goes all the way up to 60% inspiration once you get her skilled up and you get her at awakened level 1. I promise you there is nothing more game breaking as you progress and even into the end game than a strong and effective inspiration buff. No better place to get it than from Dolores. Completely phenomenal, absolutely must build. Finally, our last hero, if we go to the Esoteria order, we have got Laurel. This is the most interesting one as well because she is must build, but you only have to build her to 5 stars of promotion. That is because at 5 stars of promotion, you unlock this talent. Let's focus on the second sentence here. Additionally, upon death, provides surrounding allies with a restoration of 50% of their rage cap upon death. This is upon her death, but also her retreat. So you can cycle her on and off the battlefield. Every time she is picked up, the allies in the immediate squares touching her, so 3 above, 3 below, 1 to the right, 1 to the left, will get half of their rage bar, half of their ult costs restored. You only need level 55 stars of promotion for this. It is so easy, it is so effective. She also gives extra rage during her ultimate, and she gives a very slept on damage increase whenever she isn't ulting and another ally on the field anywhere on the field triggers their ult. These are the 11 must-build units. Simply put, build them, progress, profit, enjoy. If you like my stuff, subscribe to the channel. I've been Fastidious, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.
Fastidious.